Sunday, September the 8th is a big day of racing at Hippodrome 3R, where they have the championship finals with $500,000 on the line for 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. The purses are $55,000 and $65,000 each for these races. We'll have free PPs for the entire 12 race card up on DRF. You could check it out by checking out that QR code on your screen. We also have live video for the entire card. Matt and I are going to discuss two of the races, races 10 and 11 for the Glamour division, the 3-year-old Colt Trotters and the 3-year-old Colt Pacers. We'll jump right into race number 10, which is the 3-year-old Colt Pace Final for $65,000 Canadian, which is what, about 40,000 American, Matt?
I don't know. I haven't checked the conversion rates lately, but just backtracking for a second. Hippodrome 3R or Trois Rivières. We had a big race a few weeks ago with the Prix de Tête. It's a fun little track. I've always been partial to half-mile tracks and half-mile racing, and it's a fun track. It's a fun racing day, and it's a good opportunity to kind of play around and something different that people aren't usually used to.
Absolutely.
So the Glamour division, like you said, 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers and Trotters, and we are going to start with the Pacers.
Yeah, and race number 10, this card kicks off at noon, by the way, for those who are looking to get in for race number 1. Race number 10, obviously much later, maybe 4 o'clock or so, I would say. I'm looking at this race, and I see this horse Boom Boom tonight, 5-2 on the morning line. The last 3 times been in these Quebec Cup races, has won and won convincingly. How are we going to beat this horse? He's going right to the lead.
We have the 2-hole. It's not the easiest spot on a half-mile track where you're trying to cross over a rail horse because you don't have the best angle. But there's no trailer, so it kind of makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, he's obviously the most logical. He's 4 for 10 this year, all on the front end. As long as he can get over the one horse without too much trouble, I can't see anything else from the outside threatening early. And yeah, you expect he'd have it, on his own, all on his own on the front end. And it's definitely the horse to run down.
Another horse I think is interesting in this field and pretty good price in the morning line at 5-1 is the 3 Gladiator SBG. I went back and watched that replay from the last race. It wasn't a Quebec Cup race, but this horse was in traffic, was grabbed up late, clearly had something left in the tank. I mean, this horse could have more than we expect, and you get a nice driver change here to Dan Dubé.
Yeah, I like Dan Dubé, kind of like a homecoming going back to Quebec. He was the favorite last week, and you expect he should have some pace in traffic after kind of getting boxed in and not doing a ton of running. I like the race a few back when basically he was parked every step of the mile and kept digging, ended up getting beat, but I thought that was a solid effort. And that's kind of what I'm focusing on here because I kind of like him as my top pick because I think he's not going to be that. I don't think he's going to be in the lead or in the pocket, obviously, but things will be close enough where maybe he can come first up when he's flushed out and be able to grind. And if he can get close enough to the 2 and hang around, he might be able to outsprint this one. He's definitely going to be much better priced. And, maybe the fresh set of hands Dan Dubé can do the trick, but I think he is capable.
I think it's worth mentioning. I mean, listen, Boom Boom tonight is 5-2 in the morning line. This one's going to be 2-5, right, Matt?
I mean, I don't know if he's that short, but he's a deserving favorite, and you could argue odds on, especially because of the inside post. But that's why I'm kind of looking elsewhere in a horse that he's proven he's the best. But when there's big money on the line now, I mean they're racing for like 7-8 times the money they usually raced for. Some crazy things happen. Maybe some outside horses take a shot and press the pace, and crazy things have happened.
Why don't we take a look at our picks for this race number 10 for the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Pace Final. I went with Boom Boom tonight. I just see this horse going right to the lead and going down the road. I'm hoping that Dan Dubé with Gladiator SBG can, push away and get into a pocket position where he can follow, and then it can line up 2-3, and then I can go to the window and cash my $8 exacta, man.
Something like that. I mean, that would be ideal if he could drop into a pocket. It all depends, obviously, on what the rail horse does, who has shown at least enough speed when he's drawn inside. He actually was able to leave from the outside post last week and last start and get to the front. But Yeah, I like Letter BG for the upset. Figure I'm going to get maybe around 4 or 5 to 1 to either run down Boom Boom tonight or grind down Boom Boom tonight.
We'll
Anyone
go
else?
with grind down because if they run, that's not good, right?
Oh yes, running in harness racing is like taboo, I guess to say. But these are pacers, so we don't expect any problems. We kind of like the same horses underneath the 5 horse. I have third. You have fourth in your selections. Louis Philippe Roy. He's been a steady, okay sort. He's won 3 races this year, but again, it's all how he's going to get towed into the race, or if he can even reach. Will he be second over? Will he be third over? Will he try to leave and get parked? It's tough to say, but I'll use him underneath. I just like Louis Roy, one of the most accomplished drivers in Canada, taking the lines back, and I'll throw him on the number.
Well, I'm going with the favorite. Matt's going with a little bit of upset in race number 10. We're going to move on to race number 11, which is another $65,000 3-year-old colt and gelding, this time on the trot, this final. And I think really this race comes down to, there's 2 ways you can go in this race as far as I'm concerned, Matt. You either believe the 2 is going to stay on stride or you don't.
If the two stays on stride, I think he is the one to beat. Captain PV, the 3 horses, obviously a logical, safe trotter, front running style with a bunch of wins this year. But you could see Paradise Money beat Captain PV handily 2 back when he didn't break. Maybe he's on this every other start, break flat, which means he's ready for a flat mile. He's ready to jog. So he will be my top pick with my fingers crossed and holding my breath.
The one good thing about Paradise Money is I think if you're going to play Paradise Money and he decides that he wants to trot today, right, or on Sunday, you could pretty much safely bet a 2-3 exacta cold and it's probably coming in.
I'm in agreement with you with that being my selection. It just depends how hard Captain VB gets pressed, if he is pressed by Paradise Money, or Paradise Money is in a good mood and he just takes command early and Captain PV is left chasing. I think from these posts, or at least Captain VV of the non-breaking, hold your breath horses, is the clear choice. I think it's hard to make a case really for a few of the other horses. Maybe the 7 stacks up with these class-wise, but that's obviously a tough outside post. But I'm fairly confident that if Paradise Money trots, you're looking at cold 2-3 exacta.
Do the troubles of the 1 Spin for Life, who I'm not sure I see a line where he didn't break on his card, does that hurt Paradise Money's chances? See monkey do,
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes these trotters I see, I call them like a sympathy break. Like I see another horse break, they're like, okay, I'll join along with you and break. I'm just hoping the 1 is maybe not even a factor behind the gate or off the gate or gap in the gate a bit. And if that's the case, it's obviously a smoother run for Paradise Money. That first turn kind of comes up quickly, and you bank it on a half-mile track pretty quickly. But yeah, once he stays off on the gate safely and gets into the turn safely, I'm not worried about the 1 at all. I figure him to, if he stays trotting, to be mid-pack, as they bank into the turn.
Why don't we take a look at our picks for race number 11 here at Hippodrome 3R? And as you can see, and Matt already mentioned, he's going with Paradise Money, and he's looking at that cold exact over Captain PV. I went a little bit of a different way. I'm going to take a shot and think that Paradise Money is going to break, and I'm going to go Captain PV over Wild Dream Mem, who I think is a horse that's probably going to leave the gate here. And if the breaking happens as I expect on the inside of the gate, should be in a pretty nice position to get me home on an exacta that could pay decent.
Yeah, it's funny. So you have the Paradise Money breaks, but then because he's talented enough, he gets back and rallies for third.
It's really, you look at the field, the rest of the field, and you're like, he could probably break and finish second or third.
That's what I said earlier. Of the other horses, the 7 is clearly the main other contender. I looked at the 6, who's another breaker, added trotting hobbles recently. I guess didn't work because he broke in his last start. But usually I love that angle. But he's another one, if he seems to have a little bit of talent, if he can stay flat. But we mentioned the one, maybe not ready for the big stage. The 4-horse last try, he's been off a little time with a scratch sick, and he hasn't shown a heck of a lot. The 5, I guess, is one of those even trotters, goes every week, but doesn't lose ground, doesn't gain ground from mid-pack post. He'll just probably be lingering around mid-pack.
The 8's not awful on paper.
Yeah.
If the 8
No,
running a 1, the 8 would have a decent shot of at least being in the number.
You know what? He's another safe trotter. Doesn't show any breaks, but it's all a question of how he can get out of the gate. And if the 1 is gapping, or the 6 breaks or something like that early, I guess it's not that hard for the 7 and the 8 to all of a sudden slide in, like 3rd or 4th or something like that. But that's where I'll leave him, 3rd or 4th on my tickets, and try to get that chalk number home with the inside horses.
We have 12 races on this noon card at Hippodrome 3R, the Quebec Championship Finals for $500,000. Obviously, free PPs and live video will be on DRF. You'll want to check that out. Till then, good luck.